The titan of Asia, Zhongguo or China, and the titan of North America, the USA, continue to butt heads over and over and over again. The latest friction has been caused by Trump threatening tariff hikes again on imports from China, and China imposing restrictions of their own on who can buy Chinese rare earth elements, who can incorporate Chinese rare earth elements in their supply chain. Now, tariffs you've heard about from the US, Trump's always on about it, but China's export controls, that one is less well known. Yet the implications are far reaching, they're huge. Now, before we carry on, I want to spend some time appreciating fully this animation that hopefully you're seeing on your screen now. As many of you know, my animation budget is $0 or pounds sterling and loads or rubles. And loads of people like that. They like the stupid hand gestures, they like the defense agreements, they like the interception of missiles, you know, the drones. They like it, okay? It's stupid, but you know, that's just me. But you cannot deny this animation is fire. I'm just gonna watch it again, yeah. So you got China, you've got a focus on its military, its aircrafts, its air defenses, and semiconductors. That was the last symbol, computer chips. Then we go all the way across the globe to the United States. How exciting. Okay, so I want to thank again Netwatch Global for making this animation for me. A portion of the money I make from this video, though on TikTok that's a really small amount. On the other platform I also post this video on, if you watch it there, it actually gives me significantly more pennies. So please do consider watching it there. A portion, whatever that portion is, will go to Netwatch G, the real G, as it were, for his contributions. And I hope we can work on future videos together. He can make some more animations that are not certainly $0 and require a lot of time, effort, and skill. So thank you again, Netwatch. Now back to the topic. China has made significant advances in a range of different fields, and though it would be inaccurate to say they have overtaken the USA in most things China is behind, but the pace of progress in China is much faster than that of America. More people, more researchers, more breakthroughs in a shorter period of time, and a governance system that is centralized, for better or worse. It's a centralized system, very different to the incoming, outgoing presidential system of the US. China is a lot more different in that sense, and that's actually allowed them to set long-term goals and, relatively speaking, stick to them. Meaning that China is behind in most things, but they're catching up in a way that America is going to struggle to halt. Most well known for the Chinese and their recent innovations are their electric vehicles. For example, BYD is a car company you may have heard of or not yet. BYD stands for Build Your Dreams. It's a young Chinese EV car company, or battery company if you want to be specific, but now they make cars with those batteries. They stormed onto the world stage with their advanced, futuristic, and most importantly, one could argue, affordable cars. And it's got to a point where Tesla lags behind BYD in some facets of the industry in terms of tech and innovation. And Europe, for example, is demanding China tech transfer some of their EV technology to Europe. We'll talk about that in a upcoming video. We were always taught, obviously, in the West, the narrative that anything outside the West is a cheap knockoff. China's always trying to steal, technology. Well, the turns have tabled, or whatever the phrase is, right? Now, Europe's saying, oh, please, we need access to your technology. Otherwise, how's Germany going to compete with China in terms of vehicles? So, back to the main topic of this video, export controls. Why are they important to know about, and what the heck are they? Well, first of all, China processes around 80% of the world's rare earth elements. It's a dirty, polluting industry. So a couple of decades ago, beyond that as well actually, similar to how labor and assembly of products was outsourced, Western European and North American businesses primarily outsourced also their dirty rare earth element refining work as well to China. Naturally, China did the hard work and they took the paycheck and they went home. And they took the environmental hit, it has to be said. But they learnt, you see. as a whole state, but also businesses in China. They learnt, they improved, and now China is fixing the environment that they polluted with world leading clean tech or green tech, while they retain the industrial, technological, or technical and expertise to keep refining those rare earth elements for itself and the rest of the world. So they've kind of got into a position of, oh, we used to do the dirty work back then, but now it's, upskilled us in a way that no one else can compete. And now we're also, using our industry to make cutting edge, world leading clean tech like solar panels. No one does solar panels like China anymore. It's quite reasonable to say the rest of the world largely relies now on China to provide those rare earth elements refined, that are so needed. They're needed from everything from earpods to the phones your earpods are connected to fridges to frigates, flipping frigates, right? Warships. So these export controls are a signal by China. They're saying the age of unfair trade practices is over. No more emotional damage from it. Sorry, I'll stop. Countries basically got away with quote unquote unequal treaties. That's a reference to the Victorian era. But that's in the past now, because that was when the Western powers were ruling hegemonic powers on Earth. And other nations essentially had no choice, or their choice was be poor and isolated or integrate into the Western led system. But that age, for better or worse, is coming to an end. The dragon of the East has risen, and the global South rises with it. And America, having grown accustomed to getting its way outright, or using its economy, military, currency, diplomatic power as a mallet to smack any dissenting voices and then get its way that way anyway. America needs to get its way. That America is going to have to adjust to this new world where they might not necessarily get their way every day. Adjust, accommodate, or suffer the economic hits that China may now be willing and capable of dishing out. The Uno reverse card is out. I was going to say polymerization from Yu-Gi-Oh, but that doesn't fit this analogy. The Uno reverse card is out, and China is saying, "Your turn." Sorry. Time will tell how things turn out, and I'll be here to report to you the news and the analysis unbiased and without the Western spin. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mahfuz, or NewsBaba, and I'll see you on the next one.